Hi, this is Glenn Gordon, picking up on a multi-part series about my construction of a Timber Tiger STL. I'm picking up today with the vertical stabilizer and the rudder construction. The construction on these two components very closely mimics that of the elevators and the horizontal stabilizer. When I did the video on the horizontal stabilizer and the elevators, there were a couple parts that I had not done yet on those, and I could actually show those on here. Everything about this is the same as far as the type of construction, from the fluting on the ribs to the finishing of the main spar tubes and the connection of the weldments. So I'm really going to just focus in on a couple areas there that make these parts unique, or make these steps unique that I didn't get to show on the last video. This is the vertical stabilizer, and just like the inboard ribs on the horizontal stabilizer, there are fabric braces, and that's these 1/4-inch tubes, aluminum tubes that are simply welded in to gusset and strengthen this rib, so that once the covering is on and you're applying heat to shrink the covering, that it doesn't start twisting on this or causing it to bow inward. The shrinking fabric will provide a lot of force against that, and so this just helps to brace that rib so not to distort the part. The second area that I did not have completed on the horizontal stabilizers was the addition of the balsa wood. Now, this balsa wood is bonded to the spar, to the vertical spar on the stabilizer, and I'll turn this sideways. You can see it's got a contour that it has been sanded out so that it fits nicely over the tube and bonded in place. And area above the hinge points, there's enough room that I'll be able to bring the clevis pin in for installation when I go to install the rudder onto the vertical stabilizer. Little tricky area here was at the top to sand out the back side where it goes over the tube, because this tube is no longer a perfectly circular cross section, because it's been flattened to meet the width of the leading edge tube. So we had to make it so that it fits, and you'll see on the back edge, it's a straight line all the way up to that point, because the geometry on the rudder is complementary, meaning the tube that forms the rudder will also get compressed, and as it gets compressed to accommodate the tubing width, it flares out. So I'm going to put this back onto the table with the rudder, and we'll get a close-up of that so you can see how that geometry is coming together. And what I'm going to be going for here is a uniform gap of about 1/4 inch all the way down to account for the covering thickness. And so I'm just sort of eyeballing the alignment on these pins where the hinge pins would go, and see I have a little more sanding to do in here to create a uniform gap. And then as that gap comes up to here, as this tube flattens out, it bends forward, and so I'm carrying that gap through to the balsa wood gap seal. This is something that was not found on an original Ryan STA, but Timber Tiger designed this in to the STL so that it boosts the control effectiveness of the rudder and the elevators. More importantly, the rudder for directional control and stability, but it is found on the rudders as well, on the rudder. So that's all I really have to show on the vertical stabilizer and the rudder. I'll post a link to my build log so you can see a lot more detailed pictures and a little more about the techniques and how I might have done some of these bends, especially finishing and detail work. I'll post that in the links with my build log, and we'll see you on the next video.